ঠিক ঠিক আছে স্যার, আমি মাইকটা অন হয়ে গেছে আমার। ওকে। আর এটা ছবিটা আসছে না? ভিডিও আসছে? ওকে, ওকে। তো থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ। আর এই মোবাইলটা আমি বন্ধ করে দিই।
हाँ भेज दिया भेज दिया।
হ্যাঁ, একটু সময় লাগছে স্যার। হ্যাঁ, আচ্ছা।
Respected dignitaries and my dear participants, Namaskar and very good afternoon to one and all. I, Dipali Jindal, Junior Consultant NIDM, welcomes you all in today's webinar on the topic Disaster Management in Agriculture Sector. उससे पहले मैं आप सभी को हिंदी दिवस की हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देना चाहती हूँ और इस विषय में मैं कुछ बोलना चाहती हूँ। सारे देश की भाषा है, हिंदी अपनी भाषा है, जात पात के बंधन को तोड़े, हिंदी सारे देश जोड़े, गर्व हमें है हिंदी पर, शान हमारी हिंदी है, कहते सुनते हिंदी हम, पहचान हमारी हिंदी है। जितने भी हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स हैं, मेरी डिग्निटरीज हैं, मैं उन सभी को हिंदी दिवस की एक बार फिर से हार्दिक शुभकामनाएं देती हूँ और आशा करती हूँ आज का वेबिनार हमारे लिए काफी ज्ञानपूर्वक साबित होगा। आज का वेबिनार हमारा मिला जुला इंग्लिश और हिंदी का कॉम्बिनेशन होगा इसमें। स्टार्ट करते हैं। So I request the convener of this program, Dr. Amritlal Haldar, to kindly give a quick introduction about the webinar. Over to you, Dr. Amritlal Haldar.
Thank you, Dipali. Dipali, is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Now, I welcome the expert, Professor Amitabh Kaur, our Professor Head and Professor Surya Prakash Sab, and my panelist of this division, and dear participant. I again welcome them. And you are aware that today is the Hindi Divas, that in this day, that is in that when our in our Samvidhan Sobha, in this day, that is in 14th, they have given the approval. Accordingly, approval दे दिए थे. उसके बाद हम लोग ने इसी 14 को हिंदी दिवस के हिसाब से मनाता हूँ. तो आज हिंदी दिवस के अवसर पर हम लोग भारतवासी को बहुत ही गौरवान्वित महसूस होना चाहिए. हिंदी ये जो लेखन है, हिंदी जो स्क्रिप्ट है, इसको भी मान्यता दे दिया गया. बहुत सारा स्टेट में हिंदी से सरकारी कामकाज होते रहता है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में भी होते रहता है. तो ये हम लोग सौभाग्य का विषय है जो आज ही का दिन हिंदी भाषा को मान्यता प्राप्त हुए थे. इसलिए हम सभी देश एवं प्रदेशवासियों को आज के दिन के लिए शुभ संवर्धना जनाता हूँ. नाउ टॉपिक पे आता हूँ. आज ये जो टॉपिक है हमारा, इसको तो आपने सुना है, एग्रीकल्चरल डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट. हम लोग को बीच में प्रोफेसर अमिताभ कौर जी है. वो एक प्रोफेसर थे आचार्य नरेंद्र देव यूनिवर्सिटी अयोध्या का. तो आप सभी जानते हैं जे एग्रीकल्चर डिजास्टर क्या है. ये बेसिकली that is the one type of it is a totally disaster, that is a violent and sudden destructive changes in the environment, either affecting the crop or by land cultivation or the raising of crops or as well as livestock. So what are the factors that it is giving or it is impelling this disaster? Especially the natural disasters are there, and as well as anthropogenic causes are there. In the natural disaster, especially in the agriculture sector, that is the flood, cyclone, tornado, tsunami. These are the basic factors, and as a basic disaster, they are main factors that is causing the disaster. And similarly in different anthropogenic causes are there. That is the emission of methane gas, that is the greenhouse gases, carbon dioxide, as well as these nitrous oxide gases. These are compelling, as well as they are increasing the concentration in the environment, and indirectly it is reducing the crop yield, and a lot of other things are there. And due to this thing, these disasters are appearing. Now, you might be knowing that out of these, in this, our Indians, at least 75%, they are depending on the agriculture. So in India, this climate is very, very variable. And due to this thing, that crops and as well as the disasters, these agriculture disasters are happening and reducing the yield and other things, and it is affecting our economy and the farmers and other these Indians also. They're getting loss in their livelihood and other things. And every year this Indian agriculture is being challenged by the natural disaster. As I told you, that is the flood is the main, then hailstorm are there, pest attacks also, it is one of the component. It is yielding, or due to this fact, this disaster is happening, and certain potential it is creating disaster risks are exposed when these vulnerable physical, economical, and social conditions as well as environmental conditions are existing. And in agriculture, it is easily affecting at large extent by these disasters, and the scenario of agriculture in Indian scenario, it is getting disturbed. Our Prime Minister or present government, they told by 2022, the farmers' income will have to be doubled. And by 2024, that ease of living has to be made by 2024. Now for the doubling of income for the farmers, a lot of exercises are going on in the central government side as well as state government side. And in Prime Minister 10-point agenda, they have given the thrust how to maintain or how to achieve the double income from the agricultural product. And this national disaster management plan is being developed, from where that a lot of objectives are being prepared to achieve this target. That is, the first point is that to ensure the protection of infrastructure, assets, property, and resources under the ministry and department and as well as establishment from disaster and extreme events. Second point is that to ensure the activities, including physical development and systematic practices, operations, and that do not aggravate hazard, risk, and vulnerabilities for the disaster. And next point, that is the third point, it is there, that is, it has to be also to ensure the activities and programs under the ministry and sector to increase against the risk, disaster, and extreme events. So in this objective, then government is trying to pull on and trying to create and to achieve the target, and it is going on. Now this disaster could be, we have to be mitigate, and we have to resilient free, and we have to by somehow we have to improve so that agriculture product to be safe and economic will be benefited by the farmer as well as public also. Now with this, I put end for my introduction. Now over to Deepali, please.
थैंक यू सो मच सर। इस वेबिनार का संक्षिप्त परिचय देने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद डॉक्टर हलदार। थैंक यू सो मच फॉर गिविंग सच अ ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन अबाउट दिस वेबिनार। So now I would like to call upon the professor and head of our department, NIDM, Professor Surya Prakash, to address the participants. Also, let me translate in Hindi also as we are celebrating the Hindi Divas. अब मैं हमारे माननीय विभागाध्यक्ष NIDM प्रोफेसर सूर्य प्रकाश को आमंत्रित करती हूँ हमारे प्रतिभागियों को संबोधित करने के लिए। सूर्य सर, प्लीज टेक ओवर द स्टेज टू एड्रेस द पार्टिसिपेंट्स।
धन्यवाद दीपाली जी, मेरी आवाज पहुंच रही है?
यस सर, आ रहा है।
ओके, थैंक यू वेरी मच। इस सुअवसर पर जबकि हम एक वेबिनार कर रहे हैं, हमारे जो मेन प्राइमरी सेक्टर है ऑक्यूपेशन एग्रीकल्चर, और साथ में हिंदी दिवस भी मना रहे हैं। ये मेरा सौभाग्य है कि इस पर मुझे एड्रेस करने का मौका मिल रहा है, और मैं धन्यवाद करना चाहूँगा प्रोफेसर अमिताभ जी का, जिन्होंने अपना बहुमूल्य समय निकाला और अपने जो अनुभव इन्होंने अभी तक लिए हैं और जो नॉलेज इन्होंने एक्वायर की है, ज्ञान साझा करने की हमारे साथ सहमति जताई। और उम्मीद है, क्योंकि हमारा जो कृषि है एक मुख्य व्यवसाय होने की वजह से, और इससे ही हमारा जो है बहुत सारे लोगों का घर और रोजगार चलता है, तो बहुत महत्वपूर्ण विषय है और मैं खुद इस विषय पर काफी इन्वॉल्व रहा हूँ। मुझे याद है जब हम लोगों ने NIDM से 2009 में पहला डिसास्टर का जो मैनुअल निकाला था, ड्राउट मैनुअल और किसी डिसास्टर पर नहीं है, ड्राउट पर है, जो एग्रीकल्चर ड्राउट पर ज्यादा फोकस करता है। और हमारे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर एंड फार्मर्स वेलफेयर ने बहुत इस पे ध्यान दिया और उसको फिर से रिवाइज किया 2016 में। मेरा सौभाग्य था कि मैं उस कमेटी का एक सदस्य था, जिसमें हमारे जो उस समय के एडिशनल सेक्रेटरी थे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एग्रीकल्चर, वो और हमारी सभी टीम के मेंबर्स जुड़ के क्या 3-4 दिन तक लगातार एक जगह रुक के उस जो है ड्राउट मैनुअल को रिवाइज किए और उसमें भरपूर कोशिश की कि हमारे जो किसान भाई हैं उनको कम से कम असुविधाएं हों और आपदाओं के समय में सही सहयोग मिल पाए और सूखा और बाढ़ जैसी जो आपदाएं हमारी फसलों को काफी प्रभावित करती हैं उनसे निपटा जाए। इसके अलावा कीट पतंगों की समस्याएं भी बहुत रही हैं और दूसरे समस्याएं भी हैं, प्लांट्स में भी एपिडेमिक्स हो जाती हैं। तो ये सब समस्याओं के लिए हमारी जो हाई पावर कमेटी थी 2001 में, जिसने सितंबर में अपनी रिपोर्ट सबमिट की थी, उसने भी ध्यान आकर्षित किया। तो बहुत सारी चीजें हम जिनको रोज रोजमर्रा देखते हैं, आज मैं देख रहा हूं कि आज कई जगह मानसून में अक्सर हम जो है सावन में ज्यादा बारिश देखते थे, पर अब भादों में मिल रही है। तो ये जो बारिश है इससे काफी बाढ़ आ रही है और साथ में जो हमारे शहर हैं ग्रामीण इलाकों के अलावा उनमें हमारा जो जल निकासी का तंत्र है वो भी बहुत व्यवस्थित या बहुत सुव्यवस्थित नहीं है। उसमें भी पानी बहुत अटकता है, मलबा अटकता है और उसकी वजह से बहुत जगह पानी खड़ा हो जाता है या बहुत तेजी से बहता है। तो सब जगह कंक्रीट होने से भी जो है वाटर का इन्फिल्ट्रेशन भी कम हो रहा है। हमारा जो ग्राउंड वाटर लेवल है उसमें भी काफी फर्क आ रहा है और इसके अलावा हम बहुत तेजी से एक्सप्लॉइट भी कर रहे हैं क्योंकि हमारे पास अब बहुत अच्छे मोटर पंप्स हो गए हैं। तो हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा पानी को जमीन से निकालते हैं और इससे जो है वाटर टेबल और डाउन डाउन जाता जा रहा है। तो बहुत सारी समस्याएं हैं जिससे हमारे किसान भी जूझ रहे हैं, क्योंकि अगर हमें नदियों से पानी नहीं मिल रहा या बारिश से पानी नहीं मिल रहा तो उनके पास एक ही रास्ता रहता है कि जो जमीन का पानी है वो ले आया जाए और उससे फसल का प्रावधान किया जाए। तो बहुत सारे टूल्स, औजार हम जो इस्तेमाल करते हैं या मशीनरी जो हम इस्तेमाल करते हैं उसका भी एक अपना भूमिका होता है जिसको हमें जानना जरूरी है कि कैसे ऐसे हम सिस्टम डेवलप कर सकते हैं कि आपदाओं का असर कम से कम कर सकें या आपदाओं की जो बारंबारता है उसको कम कर सकें। तो ये एक हमारा मुख्य उद्देश्य है। आज हिंदी दिवस है तो हिंदी में मैंने कविता रचित की थी आपदा पर ही, जो मैं आपको हिंदी दिवस के उसमें साझा करना चाहूंगा कि हम आपदाओं की बात करते हैं, जब भी आपदाओं की बात करते हैं तो शेर जाते हैं। तो उसको एक कविता के रूप में अगर मैं कहता हूं, आपदा शब्द सुनते ही, आपदा शब्द सुनते ही सहम जाता है दिल, एक दिल में घबराहट हो जाती है, एकदम ठहर जाता है दिल। आपदा शब्द सुनते ही सहम जाता है दिल और एक झटके में इंसान जाता है हिल, और एक ही झटके में इंसान जाता है हिल। सुनसा हो जाता है दिमाग, कुछ सूझता नहीं है, सुनसा हो जाता है दिमाग और कोई नहीं पाता इससे भाग। और ये इतनी गंभीर और इतनी तेजी से आती है कि जैसे मैं सूखे की बात कर रहा हूं तो हमें पता नहीं लगता कब सूखा आ गया। एकदम चाहे एक इकलौता ऐसा आपदा है जो धीरे आती है पर एकदम से प्रभावित कर देती है, तो इससे कोई भाग नहीं पाता है। असुरक्षित तेज विकास की होड़ में आज, असुरक्षित तेज विकास की होड़ में आज हो रहा है अंधाधुंध पर्यावरण का नुकसान, कट रहे हैं पेड़ और पौधे, नष्ट हो रहा है प्रकृति का विधान। तो जो प्राकृतिक नियम है और विधान है हम उन सब की अनदेखी कर रहे हैं और बहुत तेजी से विकास की ओर बढ़ने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं। जो गति हम ले रहे हैं वो शायद हमारे लिए सामान्य नहीं है या प्राकृतिक नहीं है और इसके फलस्वरूप हम बहुत सारे पेड़ और पौधों का भी कटान कर रहे हैं। तो इसीलिए मैंने लिखा है कि असुरक्षित तेज विकास की होड़ में आज हो रहा अंधाधुंध पर्यावरण का नुकसान, कट रहे पेड़ और पौधे, नष्ट हो रहा प्रकृति का विधान। जल जमीन जंगल जलवायु व जमीन, जल जमीन जंगल जलवायु व जीवन का है आपस में नाता, अनमोल अटूट नाता। जल जमीन जंगल जलवायु व जीवन का है आपस में अनमोल अटूट नाता, जिसका उल्लंघन करने वाला इसके दुष्परिणाम को नहीं झेल पाता, इसके दुष्परिणाम को नहीं झेल पाता। तो हम जो भी अपने इकोसिस्टम के साथ काम कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो हमारे वाटर सिस्टम के साथ, हाइड्रो सिस्टम के साथ कर रहे हैं, चाहे हम लैंड सिस्टम के साथ कर रहे हैं, चाहे हम बायोडाइवर्सिटीज के साथ कर रहे हैं या हम एटमॉस्फेरिक सिस्टम्स या लाइफ सिस्टम्स के साथ, ये आपस में बहुत क्लोजली जुड़े हुए हैं, और जब तक हम इनके एक जुड़ाव को और एक दूसरे पे निर्भरता का आधार नहीं मानेंगे, तब तक हम इसका दुष्परिणाम झेलते जाएंगे। प्रकृति ने जीवन दिया है मानव को, प्रकृति ने जीवन दिया है मानव को, और दिए जीने के अमूल्य संसाधन, और दिए जीने के अमूल्य संसाधन, परंतु लालच के वशीभूत हमने बुरी तरह से किया इनका दोहन, और लालच के वशीभूत हमने बुरी तरह से इनका किया दोहन। तो हो क्या रहा है कि नेचर हैज प्रोवाइडेड अस फ्री एयर, वाटर, लैंड एंड बायोडाइवर्सिटीज, बट we are trying to exploit it to the maximum possible extent, and that's resulting into problems in terms of disasters. तीसरा जो अगला पैरा है, जब भी हमने किया ऐसा दुर्व्यवहार, जब भी हमने किया ऐसा दुर्व्यवहार, प्रकृति ने भी मचा दिया हमारे जीवन में हाहाकार, प्रकृति ने भी मचा दिया हमारे जीवन में हाहाकार। बड़ी आपदाएं आई, बड़ी बड़ी आपदाएं आई, और गंभीर हुए विकार अपने धिक्कार का जब प्रकृति ने लिया प्रतिकार, अपने धिक्कार का जब प्रकृति ने लिया प्रतिकार। तो प्रकृति ने हमें लैंड दी है, रिवर सिस्टम दिए हैं, सब कुछ दिया है ताकि हम सरवाइव कर सके, परंतु जब भी हमने इसके साथ दुराचार किया है या दुर्व्यवहार किया है, तो प्रकृति ने भी हमारे लिए एक प्रतिकार लिया है और जीवन में हमारे हाहाकार लाया है। बारंबार प्रकृति ने इंसान को जगाया, ऐसा नहीं है कि प्रकृति हमारे खिलाफ है, प्रकृति बारंबार हमें अवेकन करने की, चेतन करने की कोशिश करती है। बारंबार प्रकृति ने इंसान को जगाया, उसकी खोई और सोई हुई चेतना को हिलाया, उसकी खोई और सोई चेतना को हिलाया, उसके कुकर्मों की सजा को समझाया, उसके कुकर्मों की सजा को समझाया, पर फिर भी इंसान अपनी इस फितरत पर काबू नहीं कर पाया, फिर भी इंसान इस फितरत पर काबू नहीं कर पाया, क्योंकि इंसान ने क्या है कि जितना मिलता और ज्यादा, एक सब्र की जो वो है, वो हमारे अंदर एटीट्यूड की कमी हो जाती है, और इसकी वजह से ही हम अपने पे बेकाबू हो जाते हैं। तो स्वार्थ की अंधी सोच आज भी है भारी, ये जो सेल्फ इंटरेस्ट की है, ये सोच आज भी है भारी। इतनी आपदाओं के बावजूद भी, इतनी आपदाओं के बावजूद भी नहीं है कोई तैयारी। सब कुछ हो रहा है, हमारे पास बहुत सारी आपदाएं भी हो गई हैं, परंतु हम अभी तक अपने को तैयार नहीं किए हैं, नहीं है कोई तैयारी। जन चेतन और जागरूकता है कोसों दूर, क्योंकि सत्ता में बैठे लोग अभी भी हैं क्रूर, क्योंकि जो भी जिसको एक्चुअली डिसीजंस लेने हैं और प्लान्स पॉलिसीज बनाने हैं या रेगुलेट करना है, अगर वो इस चीजों को समझ जाएं और अपने छोटे लघु लालचों को छोड़ दें, तो शायद हम ये सब नियमित कर सकते हैं। कोसी, केदारनाथ, कश्मीर की आपदाओं को मत भूलना। जैसे अब बाढ़ की घटनाएं हो रही हैं, ऐसी पास्ट में कोसी में हुई थी, केदारनाथ में हुई थी, कश्मीर में हुई थी। उन आपदाओं को मत भूलना। सीखो सुरक्षित संतुलित विकास की ओर चलना, सीखो संतुलित सुरक्षित विकास की ओर चलना। ना जाने कब सीखेंगे हम, ना जाने कब सीखेंगे हम प्रकृति की संवेदनाओं का आदर करना, प्रकृति की संवेदनाओं का आदर करना, ताकि फिर से किसी आपदा का नुकसान नहीं पड़े भरना, ताकि फिर किसी आपदा का नुकसान नहीं पड़े भरना। प्रकृति ने समझाया हमें अनेक बार, प्रकृति ने समझाया हमें अनेक बार, आओ मिलकर हम सब करें इससे प्यार, आओ मिलकर हम सब करें इससे प्यार। जिसने हमें दिया हमें जीवन का सार, संरक्षण कर उसका उतारे उपकार, संरक्षण कर उसका उतारे उपकार। तो ये प्रकृति के प्रति हमारा कर्तव्य भी है, ना कि सिर्फ हमें अपने लालच में, परंतु जिसने हमें कुछ दिया है, हमारी कर्तव्य प्रधानता बनती है कि हम उसको भी कुछ दें, तो कम से कम उसका संरक्षण और उसके लिए संतुलित विकास करें हम। आओ मिलकर प्रण करें आज हम, आओ मिलकर प्रण करें आज हम, भरपूर कोशिशों से आपदाएं करेंगे कम, भरपूर कोशिशों से आपदाएं करेंगे कम। जब तक हम में है दम, जब तक हम में है दम, आपदाओं से एकजुट होकर निपटेंगे हम, आपदाओं से एकजुट होकर निपटेंगे हम। कहने का भाव है कि एक व्यक्ति शायद अकेले कुछ नहीं कर सकता, पर अगर मिलकर जुड़कर हम सब लोग अपनी सहभागिता और साझेदारी के साथ अगर अपनी प्रकृति का ध्यान रखेंगे तो हम बहुत सारी आपदाओं को कम कर पाएंगे और उनके प्रभावों या दुष्प्रभावों को भी नियंत्रित कर पाएंगे। और विकास को हमें सुनियोजित, वैज्ञानिक और सही तरीके से करने की जरूरत है, बिना किसी लालच और बिना किसी भेदभाव के। तो इकोसिस्टम बेस्ड अप्रोच की बात करते हैं, ऑल इंक्लूसिव अप्रोच की बात करते हैं, नॉन डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी एंड इक्वालिटी, जस्टिफाइड एंड राइट बेस्ड अप्रोच, ये सब हमारे ध्येय हैं जिसको हम कोशिश करते हैं कि सबको इनका पालन करना चाहिए। और इस संदर्भ में मैं इसी वेबिनार में सिर्फ इतना ही कहूँगा कि ये हमारी एक भरपूर कोशिश है। हम एक्सपर्ट्स को लाते हैं, एक्सपर्ट्स भी अपना बहुमूल्य समय हमें देते हैं, आप सबके साथ अपना ज्ञान और अनुभव साझा करते हैं, अपने विचार साझा करते हैं। परंतु जब तक आप लोग इनको अपने जीवन में इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं करेंगे, लागू नहीं करेंगे, इसके फायदे हमें नहीं होने वाले हैं। तो मैं सबसे अनुरोध करूंगा दो बातों का, एक कि आपदा प्रबंधन हेतु या आपदा जोखिम न्यूनीकरण हेतु और जो है रेजिलियंस हेतु जो भी हमें कदम उठाने हैं उनकी ओर आगे बढ़े, अग्रसर हों। और दूसरा, आज हिंदी दिवस पर अनुरोध करूंगा कि हम कोशिश करें कि हम अपनी जो है स्थानीय भाषा, जो राष्ट्रीय भाषा है हिंदी, इसका उपयोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा करें ताकि सब लोगों को हमारी बात समझ आए। तो बहुत जरूरी है कि हम अपनी मातृभाषाओं में और अपनी स्थानीय भाषाओं में और राष्ट्रीय भाषाओं में बातचीत करें। और हिंदी दिवस इसी सिलसिले में एक कार्यक्रम है जो स्पेशल हमारा जो है भारत सरकार की तरफ से किया जाता है, एक विशेषकर ध्यान आकर्षित करने के लिए कि हमारी हिंदी पर भी पूरा जोर हमें देना है और उसके जरिए हम ज्यादा से ज्यादा लोग तक पहुंच सकते हैं। हम आपदा प्रबंधन में कहते हैं कि जब तक के हर व्यक्ति तक हम नहीं पहुंच पाते तब तक हमारा आपदा प्रबंधन सक्षम और सफल नहीं हो सकता। तो मैं सबको प्रतिभागियों को भी अनुरोध करूंगा कि कृपया सवाल जरूर पूछें। हमारे एक्सपर्ट्स अपने हिसाब से अपना जो विचार प्रस्तुत करते हैं परंतु और अनुभव देते हैं या ज्ञान साझा करते हैं, परंतु आपकी जो अपनी जरूरत है, आपको जो महसूस होता है वो आप ही जानते हैं और आप ही समझते हैं और आप ही को पूछना होगा। तो आपको जो जानकारियां चाहिए या जरूरी लगती हैं तो आप सवाल जवाब के जरिए जरूर करिए। हम लोगों ने पहले भी एक कार्य बहुत अच्छे से किया था जिसका टाइटल ही हमने ये दिया था कि सवाल आपके जवाब हमारे, और बहुत ही सफल कार्यक्रम रहा था वो। तो इसी तरह के कार्यक्रम हम और भी करना चाहेंगे। और मैं जो है प्रोफेसर अमिताभ जी को अपनी बेस्ट विशेष देता हूँ, शुभकामनाएं उनके लेक्चर के लिए, और डॉक्टर अमृत लाल हल्दर जी को भी जो इस कार्यक्रम को प्रायोजन कर रहे हैं, और मिस दीपाली जी को जो इसको होस्ट कर रही हैं और सपोर्ट कर रही हैं। इसके अलावा हमारे बाकी जो टीम मेंबर हैं, डॉक्टर राजू थापा, डॉक्टर हरजीत कौर हरियर, मिस्टर अनिल कथैट, अजित बाथम एंड अदर टीम मेंबर्स, सबको मेरी विशेष शुभकामनाएं इस शुभ अवसर पर, हिंदी दिवस के तौर पर भी और इस वेबिनार के लिए भी। धन्यवाद। दीपाली जी, बैक टू यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर, उदारता पूर्वक अपना बहुमूल्य समय और विशेषज्ञता साझा करने के लिए और एवं हमारे सभी प्रतिभागियों को संबोधित करने के लिए आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद सर। मैं इसमें दो पंक्तियां जोड़ना चाहूंगी। आपदाएं आने का कोई वक्त नहीं होता, जो कर ले आपदाओं से बचने का प्रबंध उससे ज्यादा नुकसान नहीं होता। इसी के साथ हम आगे बढ़ते हैं अपने वेबिनार की तरफ। जैसे कि मुझे कुछ पार्टिसिपेंट्स ने रिक्वेस्ट करी है कि उन्हें थोड़ा हिंदी समझने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, now we will begin our technical session mostly in English language only. So moving ahead towards our technical session. For the first technical session, we have with us Professor Amitabh Kar. He has a total professional experience of 39 years. He joined as an assistant professor and retired as a professor in agricultural engineering in ANDU 80 Kumarganj, Ayodhya State Agricultural University, where he served for 35 years. He has a vast teaching experience in different institutions like BRAIDS, Allahabad, RWE, student classes, agriculture research scientists, trainee classes for field exposure. Also, he has taught many courses of irrigation and drainage engineering for the students of different semesters, courses of renewable energy. He has given the vast variety of the guest lectures also. For example, A Journey from Zoology to Agricultural Engineering, Our Brotherhood, and Environmental Engineering. And also, he has given the lectures on different systems of tractor, self-employment through agriculture engineering, and interventions. He also has a vast knowledge and field experience of the different classes for the farm use and farm machinery and soil testing of the Karchuli village in CORDET, IFCO, Fulpur, Allahabad. Testing and monitoring of solar water heater, solar cooker at CDRT, IERT, Allahabad. He has taken all these projects under him. Also, he has experience on the international as a United Nations volunteer. He has undergone the training at BUTSI, Indonesia, United Nations Development Program Regional Office, Sri Lanka, for 3 months. So, without any further delay, now I would like to call upon Professor Amitabh to please take over the stage and address our participants. Over to you, sir. Let me share your PPT, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dipali. Madam Dipali, I give you high regards. Professor Surya Prakash ji, Professor Amritlal Allah sir, and all other participants and learned fellows who are here just to listen to me. But one thing I would say to start, that last night I was thinking that how to start with seminar, or just practicing. So I was not able to speak properly in English. So then in late night I saw Google that tomorrow is Hindi Divas. So I was very happy that I'll be more congenial and comfortable in Hindi also. So I would like to share my views in both languages. Actually, Hindi is our Rashtriya Bhasha. Surya Prakash has already narrated so nice poem that it energizes me to give my lecture in Hindi and English both. So my regards to him. So this is actually मैं थोड़ा हिंदी में बोलता हूँ, थोड़ा अंग्रेजी में बोलता हूँ, because most of the participants are interested in English, but still थोड़ा हिंदी जरूरी है. हिंदी जो हम जिस एरिया की हम बात कर रहे हैं वहाँ पर कृषि में हिंदी ही चलती है, और हमारा जो पूर्वांचल है वो हिंदी प्रदेश है, और हिंदी ज़्यादा वहाँ पर लोग प्रयोग करते हैं. But one thing I would like to say that why this untouched aspects of agricultural sector in East UP. The disaster management is a very vast area where we have avenues and avenues, and since our independence, we had a lot of problems in agriculture, and the production was very low. Our population was also 30 crores, and now we are 130 crores. But thing is that we have grown up and we have developed also, and slowly the problems also came. Many problems, different type of problems, area-wise problems. When I joined my agriculture university, Acharya Narendra Agriculture University, Ayodhya, that time only 31 state agriculture universities were there in all over India. Now there are 75 agriculture universities. You will be surprised to know. It is only, the area is same. It is only because we are concentrating our activities, our researches, our transfer of technology approaches to those areas where need is more. So we are working for the need-based technologies. In the same way, the Agriculture University teaches gives new students, and there is research opportunities also, and there are transfer technology opportunities also. So State Agriculture University has a different, it has a different look, and there is a extension is a very important, like transfer of technology or extension, agricultural extension. This is a very important aspect of agriculture universities. And in extension, especially Krishi Vigyan Kendra take lead role in transferring tech technologies. When I joined this university, there were only 150 Krishi Vigyan Kendras 35 years ago all over India. Now there are 750 Krishi Vigyan Kendras all over India. In UP only there are about 75 Krishi Vigyan Kendras. In Jaunpur, we had a second Krishi Vigyan Kendra. Sultanpur, we have 2 Krishi Vigyan Kendras now. So they are, it is required because it is an area-based, need-based, and socio-economic structure-based. So we are studying more deeply to the problems of the farmers. And those disasters like tsunami and earthquake and flood, it is very common to all people. But the agricultural sector problems are very, very different in different areas. That's why I've taken this untouched aspects of agricultural sector in history. Next, please. Next, please. So now disaster management in agriculture is why it is important, because United World Conference 2015 disaster risk reduction had the findings that more than 22% of agricultural damage is due to drought, floods, storms, and tsunamis. Out of this, 84% of economic loss is only due to drought, as Professor Surya Prakash was telling. Now, 42% losses are in crops. It is incurred by poor rural and semi-rural community. And you will be surprised to know that only 4.5% disaster post-disaster aid is utilized in agriculture sector, as this study was 2003 to 2013. And now also, I mean, the aid is quite less. So we have to concentrate more on these agricultural disasters also. Because what he was telling, that Professor Haldar was also telling, that it is not sudden. It is coming slowly and slowly and slowly and slowly. So these disasters are different type of disasters. Like land is reducing, population is increasing, groundwater is depleting. So these things are, I mean, coming slowly and slowly. Next, please. Okay, just a minute. Now, there are many things like awareness. Farmers are, the awareness is poor, literacy is also poor. New technology acceptability to the farmers and rural people is a challenge. Access to village by rail roads is still a challenge. Many roads are kacha, and it is a problem to access and go there. Next, please. Next, please, madam. Now, there are various disasters in agriculture sector. There are social conflicts. परिवार में problem होती है. There are group conflicts. Caste conflict होती है. कौन किस जाति का है. Political conflicts. You can see every day. A whole paper, newspaper, TV, everything is based on political conflicts. On-farm conflicts are there. So this is very important. Then on like मेड़ काट देते हैं, मेड़ छोटी कर देते हैं, इस तरह की बातें होती हैं. There drainage water, how to flow the drainage water, that is also a problem. Irrigation channels, the canal cuts are there. Then water accidents are there, floods are there. Farm machinery operation challenges, as Professor Surya Prakash was telling, with chaff cutters, threshers, pulley belt accidents, with engine operation, tractor operation. So many things are being done. I mean, they are challenges. Then fire disasters are there. While threshing, this sparks come out, and then fire is and crop is burned. In cooking, you have fire problems. Pressure cooker, there is a problem. I have seen in one of my friend's family, his mother expired only due to the blasting of the pressure cooker due to high pressure. Seems to be very simple, but it happens suddenly. Then road accidents, tractor and motorcycle accidents, poisoning of fish ponds, an attack of animals in the field, insecticide misuse, and land conflicts are also there, you know. So there are land mafias. So we are always going for the land is every day, the cost is getting more and more. Next, please. Madam, next, please. Yes. So I would start with thresher accidents, because thresher is a very important aspect in our agriculture sector. When our crop is grown and it is harvested, so we want to take that harvest at home as early as possible. But slowly and slowly, what happened? There were a lot of storms those days in March and April. There are a lot of storms and hailstorms is there, rain is there. Then so these crops are spoiled. So slowly and slowly, these threshers were improved, design were improved, and their production was increased. Fabrication was also improved. The technology. These small threshers were made by local artisans. Now there are big factories of making these threshers. But unfortunately, the safety measures are not taken. So now precaution has to be taken. I'm going a little short because there are many slides. So precautions in operation of a thresher is like well-trained workers should be on the power thresher, and we should never allow disabled person to run the machine. He will be not. It will be not easy to him to run this machine. Never wear loose clothes while working on the machine. Don't put excess amount of produce on the machine, and use safe hoppers. That is known as chute. It should be at least 1 meter long, so that hand is not crushed. Yes, next please. Thank you. So now here, this farmer is, this is the Dinesh Mohan, Professor Dinesh Mohan's photograph I've taken from Gmail, Google. He is, the line sketch is by him. So I'm thankful to Dr. Dinesh Mohan that he has permitted me, and due to his permission, I'm taking this photograph. So this, the shoot is 15 degrees higher from the horizon. You can see it is inclined, and its length is 1 meter. So that hand length is also almost 1 meter. So it should be at least 1 meter or 90 centimeters. Earlier it was not done. So a lot of accidents were there. And this in this photograph you can see this man is leaning inside the thresher drum, and he's doing some work. And other person who is there in on the tractor, he is not looking at that way. And if he starts the tractor, then this fellow will die. So this is a very dangerous situation. So there are many things in thresher which is very important, and every day you see, every year you will find improved threshers and big threshers, and accidents are also happening. Next, thank you. Now this is a very important issue which I have taken, especially when I was residing at Baksha Krishi Vigyan Kendra, Jaunpur. So the railway crossing was hardly 150 meters away. So every time the rails were passing, and I used to sometimes watch, and there were chances of accidents also. And there I could see that so many accidents अखबार में पढ़ते थे कि ये ट्रैक्टर ट्रॉली गई, वहां पर इतना ये नुकसान हो गया, वो ट्रैक्टर ट्रॉली में एक्सीडेंट हो गया, डेथ हो गई. So what happens when the train normally is nowadays trains are passing at a very fast speed, 110 kilometers. that is 30 meters per second. Now, any vehicle like a tractor or any car or whatever it is, it crosses the that crossing in a very slow speed, 6 meters per second, 6 kilometers per hour. That is 1.6 meters per second. And when crossing width is 15 meters, normally vehicle takes 10 seconds to cross the road. And the train which is coming, which is far away, it crosses 300 meters in 10 seconds. So this is a very serious situation. Tractor trolley takes, I mean, the length 15 meters plus 8 meters, or the trolley length, so 23 meters. And it takes about 37 seconds to cross that crossing. But train travels 1100 meters or 1.1 kilometers 30 seconds. This is a very dangerous situation. Driver is confused. He thinks that I will pass and cross over the railway crossing, but it doesn't happen. So many accidents have been occurred like this, and especially night. You cannot see the train, you cannot see the engine, you can see only the headlight. And headlight, if it is 300 meters away, so headlight is very small, and it takes only 10 seconds to reach this crossing. So accident is obvious. The engine smashes. So these things are very serious, and I don't know, but I think railway. Once I have discussed with some person, and they have put this advertisement in. Thank you, madam. This advertisement that 30 meters, one bogie takes only 1 second to cross this railway crossing. So this is the scene, this is the line sketch, what has been shown here. So this is a very serious affair. I think government should take special care on these things. Thank you. Next, please. Now, one more important aspect is there. Like it is a slow disaster. It is a slow disaster because what happens if your tires are not good, then your diesel consumption or petrol consumption is more for your car or tractor or whatever it is, diesel engine, anything. But the tires are very important, and those are they do not change their tires. वो अपना टायर चेंज नहीं करते हैं. जो अच्छे लेग्स होते हैं, जिनकी गोटियां अच्छी होती हैं ट्रैक्टर में, वो अच्छा काम करते हैं. उनमें डीजल कम खर्च होता है, पावर कम लगती है, समय कम लगता है, और उसमें जो है एफर्ट, टायर को एफर्ट कम करना पड़ता है. लेकिन जब टायर जब घिस जाता है तो उसको किसान बदलता नहीं है, सोचता है कि बदल लेंगे, अगले साल बदल लेंगे. इट इज ओनली बिकॉज टायर का कॉस्ट करीब 18-20 हजार के आसपास होता है एक टायर का. दोनों मिला के करीब 40 हजार हो गया. तो 40 हजार पैसे तुरंत वो नहीं लगाना चाहते हैं कि ठीक है फिर कर लेंगे, रिट्रेडिंग करा लेंगे, लेकिन वो करते नहीं है. कभी पैसा नहीं है, कभी उनके बारे में उनको जानकारी नहीं है, वो टायर प्रेशर भी ठीक नहीं रखते. वो केयरलेस एटीट्यूड होता है. This is due to this careless attitude, they do not change their tires, and the loss of money, loss of energy, everything is there. So I used to give a training on, this is a tractor model which I have made in Krishi Vigyan Kendra. The students of BSc AG and farmers also, I used to explain them, because it is very important to know how this tractive force is working. And there are two, one tire is ordinary, and one is woven worn out tire, and one is fresh tire. There are two wheels you can see on the right side where I'm standing. So this is a very new concept which I gave to the farmers, just to give an idea that you have to use good tires always. I also faced the when I was traveling from few days back. I was traveling from Allahabad to Lucknow. My tire was the one layer was just it went out. टायर जो है बस एक्सीडेंट होते होते मेरा बचा, काफी दिक्कत हुई, फिर मैंने चारों टायर चेंज कर दिए। तो ये एक बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीज होती है। अब ये क्या है कि क्रॉप लॉजिंग प्रॉब्लम ड्यू टू रेन स्टॉर्म। ठीक है मैडम, नेक्स्ट क्रॉप, नेक्स्ट प्लीज, जस्ट अ मिनट, अर्लियर वन मैडम, अर्लियर वन, हाँ यस, थैंक यू। So in the summer season, when lot of rains are there and when the harvest is there, farmers is yet to harvest, just to harvest. Sudden rains are they really demolish the crop, and I have seen in so many areas. You might have also seen, all the participants, they might have seen these rain lash and the crops. So this is only due to lodging, and lodging is a concept when the roots of the crop is not strongly in the grip of soil. So what happens? There is a machine, zero-till machine. It is known as zero-till machine. You might have heard about zero-till machine. So it has to be introduced to the farmers. People are working on this. Next, please. Next, please. Next slide, please. So this is actually what happens, that this machine, zero-till machine, it has got inverted T tines, and inverted T tines are working below the soil, 2-3 inches below. So yes, please. Thank you. So these you will see on the lower side, this machine has got 11 tines, and their seed and fertilizer both are being placed, but the seed is placed 2-3 inches below, and the root is properly grown and it is in grip with the soil. So the crop in future, when it develops, it does not fall. गिरती नहीं है। जब फसल नहीं गिरती है तो कितना भी आंधी तूफान आएगा वो खड़ी रहेगी फसल, और तब आप उसको आराम से हार्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं। ये बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम है, और जीरो टिल मशीन से, ये सीड ड्रिल से भी और जीरो टिल मशीन दोनों से भी इसको हम लोग मैनेज कर लेते हैं। तो दिस इज अ प्रॉब्लम, दिस इज अ डिजास्टर फॉर द फार्मर्स। ये हम लोगों ने इसको कभी ख्याल नहीं किया है, इसको हम लोग को ध्यान रखना चाहिए, और ट्रैक्टर के साथ हमेशा जीरो टिल मशीन लेनी चाहिए। एंड दिस इज अ रोटावेटर एक्सीडेंट photograph. Like rotavator is a very good implement. Nowadays rotavator is being used for plowing the land, but it is not basically for plowing. It is only it brushes the land, and there are knives, and they rotate in a very high speed. So it pulverizes soil. We do not need the pulverization of soil. We need कि उसमें अच्छे से थोड़ा सा एरेशन हो जाए, और उसमें बुआई अच्छी हो, और हमारी सीड ड्रिल अच्छे से चले। लेकिन रोटावेटर को अगर गहराई से हम जोत देंगे, उसको यूज कर लेंगे ट्रैक्टर के साथ, तो बहुत गहरी और सॉइल बहुत पार्टिकल्स छोटे हो जाते हैं, ढेले छोटे हो जाते हैं, जिससे सीड ड्रिल मशीन को चलाने में बड़ी मुश्किल होती है। और ये आजकल बहुत कॉमन हो गया है। दिस मशीन इज वेरी कॉमन, इट इज लाइक अ मॉन्स्टर फॉर द फार्मर्स। अब देखिए, इसमें ये ड्राइवर जो है इसके नीचे दब गया और उसकी डेथ हो गई। और ये this is happening in many areas. You might also have heard about these type of accidents by the rotavator, and some child is sitting behind the driver, और उसको पता नहीं है, he is driving, he is busy with the plowing and operation in the fields, और वो child कब गिर गया, कब उसकी जो है वो रोटावेटर की चपेट में आ गया, and this fellow, he does not know. When he completed the field, I know this is the case. He completely plowed the field. Ultimately, he went home and he asked about his son. कि वो कहाँ गया? Then he said he went with you. So he said, but I thought he has gone home. He said no, he is not. The family said no, he didn't come home. Then he saw that so many, pieces of his body were thrown in the land. So this is very unfortunate. This rotavator has to be taken very seriously, and this should be a safe use of rotavator is recommended. So that's why I have given this slide over here. Now weeds and weedicide and insecticide have. Weeds are very important. They're enemies of crops, and anything which is away from the crop is weed, any grass or any plant, and it has to be taken care of. This is a Parthenium weed, and small white flowers you might have seen. This is very common all over the fields. You might have seen. So these one flower has 1 crore seeds, and they are so small, and they just move away through the air. And this is known as gajar ghas also. And it is a perennial crop. Perennial means it's a perennial plant. Many years it sustains many years. Its life is many years. So what happens that you have to control it by glyphosate. It is a systemic poison. It is a weedicide, but that weedicide is also used for this Parthenium. It is good, but if you use glyphosate is also used for other weeds in wheat field also. Once one farmer used this glyphosate for the wheat field, and he said to me, "Sir, 4 साल से हमारे खेत में कुछ हुआ नहीं है." So due to lack of information, lack of training, lack of knowledge, he could not grow his crops for 4 years continuously, because this glyphosate was such a poison, systemic poison, that he spoiled it spoiled the whole field. So glyphosate has to be used with water, proper solution. So that he did not know. So such a situation is arises, and it has arisen, and people don't know about this. And what happened? That insecticide is also very serious affair. They also been used by the children and all. They die and they have a lot of problems. Now this is the dust problem. Like threshers, we are using big threshers now, and big threshers, ये बड़े हावा ढाबा थ्रेशर होते हैं. इसमें बहुत हाई कैपेसिटी का थ्रेशर होता है. इसमें 30 कुंटल 40 कुंटल के 1 घंटे में सब निकालते हैं, ग्रेन्स निकालते हैं. बट डस्ट इज देयर. यू सी दिस फोटोग्राफ इज I've taken from Google, but this is a very common affair in all these to be in anywhere in West also. You will find the persons who are listening to my lecture, they will see that in summer time this dust is there. और ये डस्ट जो है वो सीधे लंग्स में जाती है और आपके लंग्स को अफेक्ट करती है. अगर एस्थमेटिक लोग हैं, नेक्स्ट प्लीज, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज मैडम, नेक्स्ट स्लाइड प्लीज. अभी जब आप अगर डस्ट, ये लोग जो ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं इस प्रेशर को, तो उसमें भी प्रॉब्लम होती है, क्योंकि रेस्पिरेटरी इन्फेक्शंस होते हैं. और जो आपके डॉक्टर्स हैं वो कहते हैं कि अगर हेल्दी आदमी भी इसके के पास रहेगा तो वो भी इफेक्ट हो जाता है. और अगर अस्थमा का पेशेंट है तो उसको तो डेथ भी हो सकती है. और बहुत सी रिसर्चेस हुई हैं. वी नीड टू डू रिसर्च एंड डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट ऑल्सो. आई वुड रिक्वेस्ट दैट सम sort of study may be taken, and people should know about it. Next, please. Now, this dust problem also is in the whole village. You know, when you go to village, जितने भी आपकी फैमिलीज हैं वो इससे इफेक्ट होती हैं. और अब ये जो डस्ट पोल्यूशन है कारपेट इंडस्ट्री का है. कारपेट इंडस्ट्री, अगर आप कभी गए हो, बनारस गए हो, इफ यू हैव गॉन टू मिर्जापुर, इफ यू हैव गॉन टू भदोई, वेरी नियर टू वाराणसी, and these there are so many factories who are making carpets. But what happens, that small fibers of these carpet, they due to dyeing colors and dyes, they go straight into lungs, and then it is very harmful. Mostly young generation in which patients are there, 47% suffer with allergy, 11% with pulmonary problems, lungs problems, and 8% with asthma and tuberculosis. So this is a study which has been done by Aligarh Muslim University. This has been in the International Journal of Science and Research and Development. So it is there, and you can find. Next, please. Now I will discuss about animal and human conflict in fields, in jungles. Earlier, these animals were only in jungles, but when we are using crops and they are not getting food, so they come out of the jungle and they take these vegetables and all, they consume it, and this great loss is there. Crores and crores of rupees are lost only due to these animals. The blue bulls problem has been solved by one of the IIT Kharagpur students who has developed an artificial intelligence-driven farm surveillance cum animal scarer to scare the animals for field crops. And it is computerized sensor-based electronic device. And when it is installed in field, the device blares the siren बजता है, और उसके बाद वो घर पे कॉल भेजता है, मैसेज भेजता है, तो फार्मर को पता लगता है, and farmers come back, and he chases the animal, and so his crop is saved. So this is a very good effort by one of the IITians, and these type of things are important for nowadays. The students, the engineers, they should go for new technologies and researches so that it is beneficial to the common person. Next, please. This is a blue bull site. Next, please. Blue bulls are in Krishi Vigyan Kendra, Jaunpur also. There are blue bulls. Blue bulls, I have seen the 50 or 60 together. And this is in morning. I have taken this photograph at Jaunpur. This is, and they are very strong. They hit persons. They hit the car also. So and they have got सींग होते हैं और सींग से मार देते हैं, तो ये बड़ी खतरनाक स्थिति पैदा हो जाती है. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. नेक्स्ट प्लीज. अभी क्या है कि some problem.
Sir, which slide, sir? Locust attack.
हाँ ठीक है, ठीक करने दीजिए. अभी चलने, अभी इसी पे रहिए. ये जो ब्लू बिल, नहीं उससे पहले आ जाइए, उसके पहले वाली पे, लोकस्ट अटैक के पहले आ जाइए. बैक. कैन यू डू इट बैक? प्लीज टेक इट बैक. One slide back.
Sir, I have done. It's on boar attack in my laptop.
Yes. चलिए कोई बात नहीं है. ये जो जंगली सुअर है कि हम बात कर रहे थे, ये तो अभी नीलगाय की बात हो गई. ये जंगली सुअर बड़े खतरनाक होते हैं. अभी हमारे एरिया में, अभी इलाहाबाद में, जौनपुर में, बरेली है, लखनऊ है, all those areas they come in night and they eat all the crops. and if somebody is there inside, these animals attack the farmer, and sometimes it is killed. So and there are fractures, there are wounds. So this is a boar attack at Saharanpur. One CC camera caught this, and I have taken one clip of this video. This boar hit about 4, 5, 6 persons. ये जो आदमी है पीछे डंडा लेके उसको वो कर रहा था और सीधे उसको हिट कर रहा था, and he injured so many persons. Very dangerous. There are so many type of bulls are there. So these are very ferocious animals. So we can't do. अभी फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट कहता है कि आप जो है इस पर गोली मत चलाइए और हम लोगों को ये नुकसान कर रहा है. तो ये बात इट्स अ पॉलिसी मैटर. फॉरेस्ट डिपार्टमेंट को और एग्रीकल्चर डिपार्टमेंट को सोचना चाहिए, एंड डिस्ट्रिक्ट मजिस्ट्रेट एंड हियर एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन should decide the policy matter. And this is a locust attack is very important, a very crucial issue, but it happens once in a blue moon. Like 30 साल के अंदर, 40 साल के अंदर एक बार आता है. अभी इंडिया में अभी 1 साल पहले यहाँ लोकस्ट अटैक हुआ था. ये जो है पूरे 1 किलोमीटर के एरिया में इनका स्वयं चलता है, and they eat a huge lot of amount of one locust swarm can eat amount of food sufficient for 35,000 people in a day. आप समझ लीजिए. They can travel 400 kilometers in a day, and their movement is unpredictable. Such a dangerous species is this. Each swarm contains 40 million insects in one that are in 1 square kilometer, that I have told you. And they eat up all green vegetables, leaves, flowers, fruits, seeds and plants, everything they eat. Their mouth parts are very strong. And if you see a video in Google, sometimes you go visit Google, इतनी जल्दी खाते हैं वो, पत्ती वगैरह एकदम खा जाते हैं. And if it is attacking your hand will be red because they try to bite this hands. So the control is done by aerial spraying, and aerial spraying is very important. One of my senior person, AVSM Sahani Sir, he was in charge of this crop aviation cell. In the crop aviation, he was there, civil aviation, and he was in charge of spraying for the locust and all those things. He lives in Jhansi. From Development Alternatives, he has hails from Development Alternatives. This is an NGO which is running in Dr. Ashok Khosla is there. There are so many good scientists are there. So he is there. He told me that locust is a very serious issue. Now in India, the rose-colored starling locust bird and any type of African birds that eat grasshoppers and locusts could be a solution. अगर ये चिड़िया को पाला जाए यहाँ पे तो इन लोकस्ट का सॉल्यूशन हो सकता है, क्योंकि ये खाती हैं, इसलिए इनसे बहुत अच्छा हमको आसानी हो सकती है. And safe and effective use of pesticides, including biopesticides, through aerial and ground spraying is necessary to reduce their propagation and prevention from their spread to new areas. क्योंकि इनके निम्फ बड़ी फास्ट ग्रो करते हैं और बड़ा नुकसान होता है. So next please. Now I would brief out with the reducing disasters risk. It's a simple thought that through systematic efforts to analyze and manage the causal factors of disaster problem, and second is to reduce exposure to the hazards, third is lessen reduce the vulnerability of people and property. आप गांव में जितनी भी चीजें हैं इस पे ध्यान रखिएगा, और आपके प्रधान हैं, जो लीडर हैं, आपके ग्रुप लीडर्स हैं, they should be trained for these things. Proper management of land and environment should be done. Improved preparedness for the adverse events. जिस प्रकार के इवेंट्स होते हैं उसके लिए सारे गांव को इकट्ठा होके काम करना पड़ता है, तब जाके इसका लाभ मिलता है. Now, there are 6 commandments for disaster management. Safety is first. So safety has 6 aspects: seek, aim, follow, ensure, teach, and yield. So safety is very important. और आप आखिरी में मैं एक बात कहूँगा आपसे कि यहाँ हमारे इलाहाबाद में एक अकबर इलाहाबादी साहब हुआ करते थे. आपने अमर अकबर का गाना सुना होगा. वो उन्होंने तो अकबर इलाहाबादी के नाम से हुआ था, इसलिए मैं आप शायद अकबर इलाहाबादी का नाम सुने. तो वो इलाहाबाद के रहने वाले थे. उन्होंने एक बात कही थी कि सभी लोग जनरल होना चाहते हैं, लीडर होना चाहते हैं, लेकिन सिपाही कोई नहीं होना चाहता. और डॉक्टर सूर्य प्रकाश साहब ने जो बात कही कि ईच एंड एवरी फॉर डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट, ईच एंड एवरी पर्सन शुड बी ट्रेन्ड, ही शुड नो द थिंग्स. टेक्नोलॉजी उनके पास जानी चाहिए, वो अवेयर होनी चाहिए, तभी हम लोग इस डिजास्टर से बाहर आ सकते हैं. तो इन्हीं शब्दों के साथ मैं अपना वक्तव्य समाप्त करता हूँ, और आपको बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. आपने नेशनल डिजास्टर में मौका दिया, especially Professor Haldar Saab, who has given me opportunity to speak, and he encouraged me a lot. This is a new subject for me, and I was surprised that I can speak something, or I worked hard for this, and I studied, because this is not direct subject for myself, but still I worked and could do something. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving such an excellent presentation. And the session was very informative, I must say. And if I talk about myself, I got a couple of ideas regarding the agricultural disasters. And about these disasters, I was totally unaware. Thank you so much, sir, for sharing your knowledge. So let me check if there are any questions. I'm forward. Just a second. So one question has been asked by Syed Mohammad Asghar. Can we develop any man-made virus kill locust like COVID-19 prepared by China, or drone pesticide spray over locust can mitigate such a disaster?
इसके लिए we can do it. Actually, what happens? This locust is a, I mean, rare problem. You know, like after 20 years it happened. So अभी आप कुछ बनाएंगे, वो रखा रहेगा, तो उसपे ये सब प्रॉब्लम्स वो होती हैं जो कि आप उस पर रेगुलर कोई चीज तो उसका बहुत यूज होता है. लेकिन ये लोकस तो आया चला गया, अभी जयपुर से आया, इलाहाबाद की तरफ आया, इलाहाबाद से वो कहीं और निकल गया, कहीं निकल गया, तो इनका कंट्रोल इससे वायरस से नहीं हो सकता है. वायरस will not solve the problem, because only insecticide can be spray is the best solution. And these birds, you know, predators. Anyway, this can be thought of. I think this is the significance of this research will be not so fruitful.
Thank you so much, sir. I think that's all. So thank you once again for giving such a amazing presentation to all our participants, sir. Thank you for joining. So moving ahead towards our second technical session, now we have with us Dr. Amrit Lal Haldar. So before asking him to take over the stage, I would like to give a brief introduction about Dr. Haldar. Dr. Haldar obtained his post-graduation degree in exploration geophysics from Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. He completed his PhD from Vikram University, Ujjain, MP, and after passing out from IIT Kharagpur, he subdanished International Development Project, Government of Odisha, Bhubaneswar as a geophysicist. He also, after joining Remote Sensing Application Center, UP Lucknow, as Scientist SC, elevated up to Scientist SG. He worked on geophysical exploration for groundwater on hard rock area of Bundelkhand, as well as the alluvial area of entire UP, remote sensing, GIS and DGPS, LIDAR and bathymetry. He has undertaken 37 projects sponsored by state, central government and internationally, also were completed during tenure of RSAC UP. He was appointed as the director of the Remote Sensing Application Center UP for a duration of 2 years and got superannuated in March 2020. He is presently working as a consultant in the flood monitoring cell at National Institute of Disaster Management, Ministry of Home Affairs, Delhi. To the credit, he had 67 technical paper in international, national journal and symposium. He has also visited the foreign countries like France, Italy, and Switzerland for the technical programs. So now I request Dr. Haldar to kindly take over the stage and please address our participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dipali. Is it audible?
Yes, sir.
Now please put me the sharing. So
Yes, it is audible.
Sure, sir.
So it is the जैसे हमने बताया आज हिंदी दिवस है. हिंदी दिवस में just 1 second को शेयर कर दे. Now it is audible. What I feel?
Yes. Now it is also
Sorry. That I was talking about that COVID protocol. The COVID protocol में जो क्या करना चाहिए उसके बारे में हमने बताया. जैसे 2 मीटर का डिस्टेंस मेंटेन करनी चाहिए, as well as face mask use करना चाहिए, and time to time you should throw it or you should wash it. If not daily, then 2 days alternate, or alternate 1 day it has to be wash it. And also that आपको साबुन के साथ हाथ धोना चाहिए, and उसके बाद आपको अल्कोहल बेस्ड सैनिटाइजर यूज होना चाहिए. इसके बाद आपको अपना हेल्थ एवं परिवार को सदस्यों का हेल्थ को मॉनिटरिंग करना चाहिए, द टेम्परेचर तो नहीं है, अदर प्रॉब्लम तो नहीं है, and also the vaccination is going on. You should take the participation for that, and you should be ensured that you should take 2 doses of vaccine with resort. India government is taking lot of efforts to complete this vaccination during the or before the festive season. In the meantime, 75,000 crore are being vaccinated, and also good efforts are going on. And if vaccination is over, at least some risk will be reduced and people can move in the crowded place. So now आज जो हिंदी दिवस है उसमें एक कविता मैं बताना चाहता हूँ। एक भाषा है आशा भरी जिसका नाम हिंदी है, हिंदी केवल जुबा नहीं देश के साथ बिंदी है। तो हिंदी दिवस के शुभ अवसर पर आप सबको हमारा हार्दिक अभिनंदन और बहुत शुभकामनाएं देता हूँ। हिंदी हमारी दिल का भाषा है जो कश्मीर से लेकर कन्याकुमारी, संसद से लेकर सड़कों और साहित्यों से लेकर सिनेमा तक हर जगह संवाद का सबसे बड़ा पुल बनाकर सामने आती है। हमने इससे पहले जब इंट्रोडक्शन दिए थे तो अभी बताए थे जो हमारा आज ही का दिन 14 सितंबर हमारा संविधान सभा में ये हिंदी भाषा एवं हिंदी देवनागरी इसको लिपि को हमारा अधिकार दिया है। तो इस दिन को आज 14 सितंबर को हम लोग को हिंदी दिवस हिसाब से मनाता हूँ। इसी को प्रोपागेट करने के लिए स्कूल, कॉलेज एवं ऑफिसों में विभिन्न कार्यक्रम होता है सो दैट हिंदी के ऊपर बहुत बल दिया जाए, हिंदी को लागू कर लिया जाए। बहुत सारा राज्य में इसका चालू है, सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट में भी कुछ काम काज भी होता है। तो हम इसके आगे यार विराम देता हूँ ना। अभी जो टॉपिक के ऊपर हमको आपको बताना है जो क्लाइमेट चेंज। सो क्लाइमेट चेंज के ऊपर हमको बताना है। तो हम मिक्स मिलजुल के बताएंगे, मिक्स हिंदी एज वेल एज इंग्लिश में हम आपको उसको आई विल ट्राई टू टेल सो दैट everybody should not face problem, at least some part they should understand that climate change क्या है, what is climate change? It is a regional or global climate patterns, so particularly change apparent from the mid 20th century or middle of this century or previous century until 2000 or 21st century completion is day by day or slowly that it is increasing the temperature level in atmosphere in lieu of reducing the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide in various form. And also this fossil fuel is the main cause. जैसे पेट्रोल, डीजल, जो गैस है इससे जो कार्बन निकलता है इसके थ्रू हमारा जो एटमॉस्फेयर में कार्बन का मात्रा, कार्बन की मात्रा अतिरिक्त होता है, जिसके लिए क्लाइमेट चेंज और ग्लोबल वार्मिंग मेन कॉज है। ये क्लाइमेट चेंज ग्लोबल वार्मिंग ड्राइव करता है, इसके कारण हमारा टेम्परेचर डे बाय डे बढ़ रहा है। जैसे प्रोजेक्शन है 2100 ईयर तक हमको 2 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड जो नॉर्मल टेम्परेचर ही हो जाएगा। दैट विल बी वेरी रिस्की। नाउ द IPCC Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change are formed and they have taken the decision in Paris, and time to time they're sitting. So what should be done for the or to eradicate, if not eradicate, to reduce the global warming? They are sitting in 2015. They have taken the decision that this 2 degrees centigrade is going to increase by 2100 year, and it should be minimized. So every countries, the leaders and chiefs are there. From there, they are conveying the message. They should cut down the restricted measure, and so that it should not increase by any means 2 degrees centigrade plus. So it should be within that 2 degrees, say maximum 1.5 degrees, so that at least to some extent it could manage, or it could that present sustainability, especially for the food and other purposes that which is using this climate as well as agriculture products are there. It should be maintained and it should not yield. The destruction should not come and disaster should not happen. And Earth atmosphere should not be poisonous. So where you are living, how hot it is. Certain countries, what I told, that certain countries that have committed that cutting carbon emission back fell away a shortage of targets set by the conference. And in also this global warming caused this, in another impact is there, that is excessive rainfall or flash flood, or several things are there, that is of snow melting is increasing. And similarly in Delhi, that one impact is there for this global warming, that this year the rainfall was so heavy that it has crossed the record of last 46 years. Now today in Safdarjung airport, in that area, the rainfall in this year, say from 1st June to till date, that is the 14th September, it has recorded 1146 millimeter. And there are heavy, number of heavy spells were there, more than 7 or 8, and which has increased the rainfall more than 60% above from the normal departure. And expert says that increase in number of heavy rain events in many parts country directly linked with the climate change. And it is there what we are seeing in this Uttarakhand and other places. This global warming is causing a lot of incidents, a lot of accidents, a lot of disaster, especially in the form of this, that is snow lake blast, avalanche, landslide in this in different form. The main cause, that is main thing, is the food security. That in India as well as globe, we are having sufficient food. Of course, in certain countries, they are having lack of food, so especially for the African country. And that sometimes back, that statistics was that 870 million people are estimated they are undernourished. The Food and Agriculture FAO, they have taken the statistics, and billion of people are malnourished. The paradox is that concomitantly, large number of people, mainly in richer countries, they are overeating the food. And in some country, they are having lack of foods, especially Africa. And who are overeating, they are having long-term health issues. And nowadays, in this forthcoming year, that is by 2050, the globe population will be 2 billion. It means that 1/3 people will be increased. So there will be tremendous scarcity of the food. Now globe is restricted in the food production, and that to this disaster or this global warming is giving a lot of impact in this phenomena. Now objective of today's topic is we have to create awareness the impact of climate change, especially in agriculture. And it needs to make sure that enough food is accessible for everyone so that no one should be hungry. That our Indian government taking a lot of precaution that nobody should be hungry and they should be slept without any food. So now you might be knowing the impact of climate change. The climate change is a global threat to the food and nutritional security of the world, as greenhouse gases is emission, and in the atmosphere, the temperature is increasing and rising due to the greenhouse effect. The average global temperature is increasing slowly, and it is reaching to it may reach after a certain time to the thrust level, and it can give a lot of disaster. A lot of things may happen. So we should be care about that. Nearly 75% of the people in developing country, they are living in the rural areas, and they are mostly dependent on agriculture, and that is their livelihood. Now, if agriculture is disturbing, now you think what will be impact for the people. So that's why this climatic variable like temperature, radiation, precipitation, humidity, it should be controlled. It means the impact of this global warming has to be reduced or mitigated by many means. And the scientific community, they are there. They are trying how to reduce. Different ways are there how to reduce the global warming. जैसे क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन, एटमॉस्फेरिक कंडीशन, ये सब डिटरमिन ये सब स्पेशली वेजिटेटिव ग्रोथ को कंट्रोल करते रहते हैं. एनिमल प्रोडक्शन के ऊपर भी ग्लोबल वार्मिंग होगा तो एनिमल प्रोडक्शन में अच्छा खासा असर आ जाएगा. एंड जो हमारा एग्रीकल्चर में जो यील्ड होता है, क्रॉप जो ग्रो करते रहता है, उसको डेवलपमेंट भी कम हो जाएगा, लो यील्ड देते रहेंगे, तो काफी इम्पैक्ट पड़ेगा हमारा उसके ऊपर. In the cool region, there is a potential for increasing the food production, but the cool region is in India is very less, but up to certain extent, that maximum in the cool region up to 1 to 3 degrees centigrade that can be absorbed. And also, I should say that in the cropping land, this increasing of this carbon dioxide, they are absorbing and they are giving good impact. However, this global warming, it is reducing due to the sequestration, other things, and it is giving negative impact. It means that it is subsidizing the respiration system, and so that it is not yielding proper result. Agriculture is not only the victim, but is the cause of climate change. It releases and absorbs greenhouse gases. What I told, that greenhouse gases could be managed, but nowadays it is so much that manage करना भी दिक्कत हो रहा है. And carbon dioxide के अलावा nitrous oxide, that is very dangerous. So वो भी increase होने का कारण, और उसको तो कोई हम लोग absorb करते नहीं हूँ, neither respiration nor inhalation nor respiration के through, तो वो तो डायरेक्ट इम्पैक्ट देता है हमारा ग्लोबल वार्मिंग के ऊपर. नाउ क्लाइमेट चेंज के क्या क्या इम्पैक्ट देता है, जैसे हमने बताया, रेनफॉल पैटर्न इज टोटली इट इज गेटिंग डिस्टर्ब, ग्लेशियल मेल्ट इज ऑन, सी लेवल राइज इज इंक्रीजिंग, various disasters, especially in the hydrometeorological nature or condition like flood, drought, cyclone, are the frequency is increasing. It is there already, but year by year, the frequency is increasing and giving lot of threats to the public and nation. इस ecosystem जो है, ये है basically natural resource based, coupled with inappropriate changes in land use, which is known to be aggravate the livelihood challenges, and it is affecting the poverty, inequality, socioeconomic disparity. You see in the pole that animals are there, they are getting disturbed due to this rising temperature. They are also coming out. Of course, this environment, it will not be balanced and it will be imbalanced, and a lot of things may happen. So it is a high time that we should think on that, and of course we should support to mitigate the how it should be reduced the temperature to participate in fully. And climate change affects food and water security. जैसे हमने बताया, जो फूड के ऊपर पड़ता है, पानी के ऊपर भी पड़ता है असर. फॉरेस्ट्री के ऊपर, फिशरीज टोटली टेम्परेचर के ऊपर डिपेंड करते रहे. टेम्परेचर अगर बढ़ते रहेगा तो फिशरीज प्रोडक्शन and this aquaculture, it will be reduced and low impact, low yield will be there. Similarly for livelihood also, it will be there. And trade disruption, economical growth, all will be in adverse impact. Even health impact will be taken place and will be there. And what are the direct impact of climate change? Day by day, it is rising the temperature, minimum temperature as well as maximum temperature. And similarly, the rising of sea level. This sea level, whenever it is rising, the inhabitants which are there in the near the sea coast, so they are also producing a lot of crop and other things. So that is getting disturbed and it is vanishing day by day. And higher ocean temperature, and in the ocean floor, that higher side, the temperature is increasing, and it is giving a very severe impact. And you might be knowing that why this heavy rain or sudden this rainfall is there, that is called the cloud burst is there. that every 0.5 degrees centigrade temperature increasing, that whatever cloud is there are at least 3% cloud will be more. This aggregation of more cloud, it will be the result of this cloud burst. It gives incessant rainfall. Say what is happening in Uttarakhand, what is happening in Bombay, what is happening in Hyderabad, what happened in past in Jammu Kashmir. So this flash flood is taking place, and trillions of thousands of billions of rupees or money it is getting lost, and thousands of more than thousands of people they're getting died. And due to the direct impact of climate change is the sinking of glacier. So what is happening day by day, glacier is reducing, and as a result, this Ganga and other rivers, they cannot sustain throughout the year. Of course, now it is in comfortable condition, but the sinking of glacier that will yield low glacier and as well as melting of water, which will adding to the river, it will be of great impact in future. So there are three types of climate change scenario. One is progressive climate change. Second is extreme event, and third is threshold event or topping events. In progressive climate change, how it is happening, how it is aggravating, how it is growing, slowly the mean temperature is increasing, rainfall amount, change in length of growing season is decreasing, and probability profile is the irregular over short term and incrementally significant over long time. So severe causes and impact is there. That is a loss of coastal habitats, that near the coastal habitants, they are getting disturbed and they are moving away from the place. Accordingly, food production activities is reduced and totally abolishing. Similarly, the increased rainfall variability, it is decreasing the water resources in some locations. In this variability, that what is happening, sometimes it is very long spell is there, that no rainfall, and sometimes it is a heavy rainfall. In this variability, that water resources demand, especially for agriculture or for habitants, it is more. Because during the dry season, they'll consume more water, either habitant or industry, as well as this crop. So in some location, and it is also in irrigation potential also, it will reducing the food production. The temperature, which is increasing day by day in many locations, it will demand more water for irrigation, thus lower yield. And this mitigation effort drive up to input cost. And obviously, the people will be migrated from one place to another places where they'll be getting comfortable. Especially the poor people, they'll be very disturbed during this progressive climate change. And a lot of conflict will be increasing while they will be migrating. And for the whatever available resources there will be also in some competition will be there. Now, extreme event, during the extreme event, there is the flood, destructive wind, drought, climatic induced fire. So these are the liable reason for the extreme event. At that time, the heat related death, that is the low, that people will be getting the heat wave and they will be affecting very much, and there will be very ill health and a lot of bad impact, and their health will be totally reaction will be there, and reactivity will be reduced. Deaths and injury would be taken place, and it is taking day by day, and as the disasters are increasing. Similarly, for loss of cultivable land, lots of water resources, and whenever in this extreme event, drought is the one of the important phenomena that will be growing, and heat-related stresses reducing the cattle reproduction, and the cattle milk and other production will be reducing. The last event, that is what is the most dangerous event, that is the threshold event or tipping points. It will give the negative synergy with the multi-system failure and high impact. So now you think whatever impact or assessment was there for the extreme events, that will be more than double on other things. Epidemics, crop failure, massive out migration. In this time, the middle class family, they'll be also getting disturbed. Only the richer family, they can somehow sustain, but other than that, other two classes, they'll be totally eradicated, they'll be migrated for their job and for their own benefit, for their livelihood. And low-level assessment, the local level assessment, that will give a lot of impact, especially for the oil up and middle income groups in the progressive event, climatic change, and during the extreme event, that oil their individual, what I was telling you, that oil their individual part, they'll be affected and they'll be trying to shifting. Short-term problems of injury, loss of livelihood, assets will be compounded, potentially increased risk and infection disease. In the threshold event, the local level assessment, it will be very, very severe, and global economic consequence will be taken place. Now, if you review the water resource schema, then you will find that low precipitation or less precipitation in some area, and in some area that is more precipitation, that is the greater interannual variability. It will give the impedant, there is more rain in some places and less snow, and slow melt, that is sooner in the spring, that during the spring also the snow melt will be there. Of course, it will be slowly, but however it will take place in the spring also. And glacier size, it will be reduced since the global warming is there, and it will eliminate and increase high elevation erosion. Similarly, for people who will be depending on the groundwater for basic supply, because the surface water, whatever is there, they'll be having temperature, that is increased temperature, they cannot use directly, and due to the increased temperature, the pollutant will be there and pollution will be there, so it is of no use. So people will be depending on the groundwater. So in this way, the groundwater will also be disturbed. And also early spring runoff, large flood peaks, all will be taken place. And the water in the streams and lakes, that will become warmer. Sea level, that due to this water resource schema and climate change in hydrologic cycle, that sea level rise will be there. Coastal erosion will be there. Salt water intrusion, that in the plain area, that salt water will be ingressing, and a lot of impact will be there in the groundwater also. More evapotranspiration will take place. That will give a lot of impact for the soil moisture and for the soil pollutant also. And more intense it will be for the storm and flooding. As I was telling you, that is 0.5 degrees centigrade, it will enhance the moisture और द ड्यूरिंग द जलीय वाष्प जिसको मॉइस्चर कहते हैं, उसमें भी आपको मोर देन 3% एनहांस हो जाएगा. सो दैट विल ऑन अदर वे it will be taken place as rain and rainfall, that flash flood, it will be taking place. Now the potential climate change impacts to water, more evaporation will take place, heavier rain and snowstorm will be there. What is happening in the Himalayan region, and this winter flooding, already it is increased and taken place in the winter. In the Uttarakhand, already you have experiences 2-3 times that is flooding was there. Less snowpack, lower summer season steam flow, and increased risk to the aquatic ecosystem and fish species. That how and this climate change that will impact on the water. That drought will be taking place slowly, flood is there, and all these are causes that is due to the global warming. And this watershed, it will be disturbed. This greater carbon dioxide concentration will be the atmosphere, which will give bad impact on human health, and crop is always there, and that will increase the risk, problems, and stakes, lot of different purposes. In the environment, you'll see what is happening in Delhi, that whenever this stubble burn is there, so that is warmer since evening to night, that people will be very uncomfortable to stay in their homes. So this will be happening when the 2 degrees centigrade, it means 2000 in the year 2100, when it will be in the end time, that it will be happening without parali burning, stubble burning. This may happen also, and this warming of surface water, drought will be taking place, and insects and disease will be enhanced more, a lot of disease. And already the nation is facing, not only nation, the globe is facing this global pandemic. It is there, similarly other disease that may also take place. Now, what will be the impact on agriculture? Main thing, it will reduce the yields, because the speed and this seeding development or producing grain process will be disturbed, and the nutrition will be less, and will also yield will also be the less. Longer and warmer growing season, higher temperature also interfere the ability of plants to use moisture, increase the insect and disease. Now, different adaptation and risk measure, we should think on that. We should think that irrigation efficiency, that should be raised, and this type of irrigation, that should also be changed. That is drip irrigation. Of course, in hard rock area, and especially in south and in Bundelkhand area, the drip irrigation is there, and we have to think on the rain-fed farming also. That is during the Kharif season. So what is happening in lot of region in India, that is no groundwater, even no canal water, that only rain-fed farming is there. Similar fashion in the same fashion in other places, or during the global period, that we should think on the rain-fed crop, and shifting of crop patterns and crops should be taken place. Nutritional value will be, we have to think on that, in which crop the nutrition value will be more, accordingly we should think. And stop the stubble burning. That the stubble burning, of course, in some government, some state government, they have taken place for the stubble burning. They are doing in another way, that how other alternative process they have thought on that, and they are contributing for the yield of fertilizer, or as a fertilizer working. So the stubble burning should be stopped, and on another alteration or another solution should think for that. And for the agriculture adoption too, that you have to think the drought resistance crop, especially the millet and bajra, they should think, select best crop for suitable land. Whatever land is there, whatever soil is there, accordingly you have to select the crop. Promote crop rotation, and that is a mixed crop should be there. And you should think for the soil and water conservation. That is the basic need for the each and every nation, each and every citizen, that you should conserve the water and soil also, especially the farmers, they are conserving, so the nutrition and other things should not be lost. And groundwater, raise groundwater from the low area, and plant for shorter rotation crops. Now you see that during the flood, the previous variety, whatever the crop was there, that is the adaptation by changing suitable varieties. Earlier, this type of crop was there, but due to the flood, it is getting disturbed, and totally it is being abolishing or damaging. That's why you have to think on this type of flood-resistant crop. So during the flood, at least they should not wash away, and after that, they should also yield some crop. So that changing suitable varieties should be there. Similarly, for the changing suitable varieties also during drought, the previous varieties was like this. Whenever drought will be there, then very less moisture will be there, and that will be totally ruined. So that's why this type of crop you can see, and it should be appropriate to change the suitable varieties. Now, fifth variety is the crop type, changing of crop type. That is, earlier you say this rice was there, paddy was there, but nowadays some other plant that could be planted for appropriate measure. Similarly, for the wherever flood is taking place, that alternative profession to be think on that. Earlier this type of was there, but whereas here the fish culture or pond should be developed, and so that fish culture could be done. That is especially for the flood prone area. And we can think on in the hilly terrain, that is wherever water or drought is there, then we can build the ecotourism. Similarly, in the flood zone, that you can think the mountainous zone as for the healthy places for the tourist. And due to this global warming, that pollutant is getting disturbed due to the low precipitation as well as low moisture in lieu of drought. And we should think, and that's why it will reduce the soil fertility, and accordingly the low livestock productivity and high production cost will be there. Livestock productivity will be less, accordingly the production cost will be more. So we should think on that. The soil should be conserved in different way, and appropriate measures should be taken place. The IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, the third assessment report they have disclosed, that is a very severe things they have confessed or disclosed, that the impact of increased temperature and reduced precipitation resulting from climate change could lead to a overall reduction in agricultural productivity, yields, including rangeland, livestock production, threatening food security, and heightening the risk of famine. So these are very severe things. We should think on that. And due to this climate, this global warming, warming climate, the health risk will be very, very severe phenomenon. And that El Nino effect, we might be knowing, that will be taken place. And time to time, obviously, in India, it is there. Of course, last 4 or 5 years, in no region, it is not having El Nino effect, but that will be taken place if the global warming will be there. Climate change will also affect the nutrient quality of the food. What I told you, it is proved that increased temperature and elevated carbon dioxide level can reduce the nutrient density and staple crops, which is a particular concern for low-income countries. The resilient crop, we should think that capacity of recover quickly from the difficulties. Climate resilient crops, such as especially in a heat, drought, flood, and chilling areas and salinity affected areas, we should think that resilient crops should be production should be started. That millets is very appropriate crop that is resilient in drought also, and it is having cereals also. It is good nutritious value is there, and we should think in this type of thing. For variety of other agroecological situation in the plain, we should think on that. Rich diversity and small millet crops has to make them well suited for contingency crop planning, and we have to think for the contingency crop planning. And these small millets contributing to a balanced diet and can ensure nutritional security through regular consumption. Now, we should think the climate change, how it could be stopped, and that is invariably important, because reducing short-lived climate pollutants can have immediate economic benefits from job creation and increased household income. Also, lasting ancillary benefits from improved public health. It will reduce the poverty, inequality, and lessen climate change impact. How it could be done? Stop the, if not, we can stop, we can reduce, but we cannot do overnight. It will take some time. Several years take place. If we feel they'll contribute on that, this reducing the methane gas, to reducing the green gases in the climate, then obviously it will be reducing. And how to reduce the climate change? There are 3 or 4 things are there. You have to do the mitigation, a lot of efforts that it has to reduce the greenhouse gas emission. We have to adapt a lot of things, and capacity building should be there to cope the changes in climate. And some geoengineering and earth manipulation is needed. That is the additional and deliberate intervention in the earth. Key takeaways are there. These are the 5 points are there that will be benefited from this seminar, from this webinar. These are the 5 key takeaways are there. You have to, this is the main lesson what you have learned in these points. Now we should take interest for the interest of the nation. We should think on that. We should do a good project to stop the global warming, and each and every citizen, if they will think, they can stop it. And thank you very much for the kind attention. Now it's over to Devali.
Thank you so much, sir, for giving such a detailed presentation. And it was very nice to hear the topic, the role of the climate change on the agriculture in the agricultural sector. Sir, with your permission, we have 1 or 2 questions. So if you permit, can we go ahead with the questions?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay, so the first question is from Syed Mohammad Asgar. What percentage of accuracy is of IMD data?
What percentage of?
Accuracy of IMD data.
IMD data, yes. That is the IMD can tell. Of course, the rainfall, you cannot say that is accuracy you can take into account, because rainfall is depending, a lot of factors are there, especially wind, and a lot of other things are there. The wind direction now, where it is after 1 hour or even for after 10 minutes, it can be changed. That you cannot, this wind direction, this type of parameter, that will not, if suddenly it changes there, then the prediction in IMD data, you cannot, of course, IMD, whatever they are doing, that is not their bad, but the sudden change in the climate that is taken place on some reverse way. So that's why sometimes that what is their prediction, especially for rainfall, drought, and especially for that is the thunderstorm, and not thunderstorm, that is the tornado and cyclone, that is their prediction is very good. But especially for rainfall, drought is also this, it is satellite database monitoring, that is their good, good yield is there. Especially for rainfall, you cannot think on the good accuracy because the changing factors are there. I feel you might be understanding this thing.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Sir, in the same question, one more question has been added. Accuracy of data may mitigate or control agricultural disaster or not?
Accuracy of data
may mitigate or control agricultural disaster or not?
Accuracy of data is not needed to mitigate and to control the disaster. A lot of other factors are there. Accuracy of data, if it is there, if the parameters, whatever they are getting it from the different sources, if that is accurate, that will be well and good. But for the mitigation and reduction, that is not only the data, accurate data is required, but other factors are there. So that will give a lot of impact or lot of help for the mitigation and reduction and adoption purposes. So it is immaterial, that is the accuracy of data is there. If the accuracy of data is there, definitely it will yield very good result for mitigation and adoption.
Okay, sir. So thank you so much. I think we are done with these questions. Professor Amitabh, sir, we have one question for you. So,
okay, please.
The question is, please let us know any eco-friendly recommendation to control locust attack.
Eco-friendly.
Sir, are you able to hear?
Yes. I suggested for this those.
Sir, you are not audible.
Hello. Just a minute.
Yes, sir. No, it's okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I asked about this predators, like the birds, which I suggested. That is a very good suggestion. Those birds, rose. I have to see those rose. The name of the bird is I'm not remembering. I suggested pro-African birds, and two birds I suggested, because they are eating the nymph and grasshoppers. So they eat all the locust also. So that is the best solution. If we have to grow those birds and we have to breed them, and like avians, we have got a avian cell, we have got avian institute also. So there we can have a breed, and we can propagate those varieties, those breeds. Then that is the best solution for, because eco-friendly solution is that one.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir, for answering the query. So now we have come to the end of this webinar. So before we conclude this session, I would like to take the opportunity to address the valedictory session. In this, I won't be delivering anything. I'm just going to some of the things which we have learned from these two lectures. So the first thing was we have had deep insights into the several issues of small or big untouched aspects of agricultural sector, as well as the role of climate change in this field. We focused on the importance of the disaster management in agriculture, as this sector is neglected globally. More than 75% of the population reside in village. They are vulnerable to various types of these hazard, and the farm activities are 24 hours in action in these particular areas. So the need of the hour is to spread awareness among these people who are not only the victims but also the first responders to any type of the disaster. Climate variable like temperature, radiation, precipitation, humidity, etc. have direct or indirect impact on the productivity of agriculture. Agriculture is extremely vulnerable to the climate change. We also learned that higher temperatures eventually reduce yields of the desirable crops while encouraging weed and pest proliferation. Pest management become less effective, meaning that higher rates of pesticides will be necessary to achieve the same levels of the control. Similarly, we have also learned that heat waves can cause the extreme heat stress in the crops, which can limit yields if they occur during certain times of the plant's life cycle. So with these words, we are done with the today's webinar. So I take the opportunity to propose the vote of thanks also. On behalf of the institute, my institute NIDM, first of all, my sincere thanks to the ED NIDM Major General M.K. Bindal sir for allowing us for conducting such webinars regularly. I gave a really heartfelt vote of thanks to our professor and head Surya Prakash, who spent his busiest time gracing the occasion, and he always encouraged and give a huge enthusiasm in us to conduct such sessions. Today, we had the opportunity to hear the thoughts of the two eminent speakers, Professor Amitabh and Dr. Haldar, and their thoughts are definitely going to encourage us in our future events. Thanks to both the speakers for adorning the occasion with their knowledge and the expertise. Last but not least, I take the opportunity to thank all my participants for joining us and asking their queries so flawlessly. Lastly, just for the sake of the information, I would like to tell the participants, those who are not able to download the certificate, the reason might be they have not enrolled themselves in the training portal. It's not like that. You need to just simply click on the link and you need to register on the Cisco WebEx, then you will get the certificate. Step-by-step step-by-step procedure of getting the certificate is this. Firstly, you need to enroll yourself in the training portal of NIDM. Or if you have done the registration once, you just simply go to the particular seminar, webinar, or the training session. Just click enroll now. Once you click enroll now, you get enrolled in the session. And when you join the Cisco WebEx, we import the attendance from the Cisco WebEx and merge the attendance with our training portal, and accordingly the system generates the certificates. So that's why this could be the reason that maybe many participants in the previous webinars didn't receive their certificates. So for the next session, always kindly register and enroll yourself in the training portal of the NIDM, and please download the certificate after the completion of the webinar or the training session. I think after 2 to 3 years, the certificates will be generated and you will be able to download these certificates from the portal itself. For any further queries, you may drop us the email also, or you may write to us. That's all. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Stay positive, stay safe.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Also, that nicely it is conducting the webinar very precisely, nicely, and it is thankful. We are very much thankful, and also I am very much thankful to Professor Amitabh Gaur.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Though he is expert of agriculture, as well as presently he is working in groundwater also and in water resources also, but still he has concentrated and he has given his full lifetime experience in this lecture. Especially, he has highlighted the man-made and natural, how the agriculture disaster is enhancing, and it is there especially for the man-made phenomena. He has given very beautifully from his lifetime experiences, and we everybody personally benefited, and really we are thankful, sir. And time to time we'll be listening to you, and though you are the expert of groundwater nowadays and onwards, you are doing a lot of work, especially in the groundwater action group in UP, I know. So again, I am very much, I am putting my acknowledgement as well as thanks to you. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
For your supporting us in this webinar. Thank you, sir. Oscar.
My regards to you and everybody, and thanks NIDM also.
Okay, sir. Very good.
Thank
Please be
you,
in touch.
madam.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Haldar. Thank you, Professor Amitabh. Also, I missed few points in my vote of thanks. I would like to mention the special thanks to the convener of this program, Dr. Amritlal Haldar, for organizing this webinar and conducting so much flawlessly and smoothly this webinar. And a special thanks to my all the team members, Mr. Anil Katel, Dr. Harjeet Kaur, Dr. Raju Thapa, Mr. Ajit, Mr. Harihar, for their entire support in organizing all the webinars and the training sessions. Thank you so much, everyone. And the last thing, somebody is asking that can you mail our certificate, please? So sorry, we can't mail the certificate to the participants. You can download it from the portal itself. We don't have the liberty to send the certificates via email personally or something else. So you have to download the certificate from your portal only. So for this, you have to register yourself in the training portal, and then accordingly you can download the certificate. And there is no separate feedback link. You will get the feedback link once you go to the training portal website. That's all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, madam.